To command devotion, to truly draw the unwavering attention of another, you must learn the paradox that most minds resist: the art of detachment. It seems at first glance to be a contradiction. How can you detach from what you desire and yet have it bend towards you with magnetic certainty? But the truth is, attachment broadcasts lack. It announces to the universe, I do not yet have this. And in the language of creation, in the unerring law of consciousness, to declare you do not have is to perpetuate the state of not having. You may think your yearning is proof of your passion, that your longing shows the strength of your heart. But in the invisible realms where realities are shaped, longing is the admission of absence. Detachment is not indifference, it is mastery. It is the silent, steady knowing that what you have assumed is already yours. When you hold someone in the center of your awareness with a desperate grip, you are binding them with the cords of your own insecurity. You may be thinking of them constantly, checking for signs, seeking reassurance, wondering where you stand. All of this, though clothed in the appearance of love, is a signal to the unseen that you doubt. Doubt repels devotion. True devotion, full, unreserved, unshakable devotion, flows to the one who stands complete in themselves, the one who is so certain of being chosen that they no longer ask, no longer chase, no longer reach outward for confirmation. This certainty is not arrogance. It is the quiet poise of one who lives in the end, who feels the desired result as already present. You must first claim yourself before you can command another. Command here does not mean domination of their will, for the will of another is not something to break. It is something to awaken. It is awakened when your own inner state becomes irresistible. Your mind is the blueprint, the pattern from which their responses are drawn. When you detach, you create a space where their own desire rises freely to meet you. The human heart cannot bear a vacuum. It will rush to fill the space you have left with its own offerings. But if you are crowding them with your need, you leave them no space in which to move toward you. This is the secret of telepathic command. It is not a forceful projection of thought. It is the subtle radiation of a state. Imagine the person you desire standing before you, eyes fixed on you with that look that says, you are the only one. Imagine the way they would speak, the way they would treat you if they were already under the spell of your presence. Let that feeling saturate you, not once, not twice, but as a constant inner fragrance. And then drop it. Release it into the unseen with the same casual assurance you would have after posting a letter, knowing it will reach its destination without your standing over the postman's shoulder. This is detachment. This is how you command without strain. It is vital that you stop measuring. Every time you check the clock, peer into your phone, search for signs in their behavior, you uproot the seed you have planted. Seeds grow in darkness. So does devotion. The unseen movements of their mind are shaped not by your physical actions, but by your imaginal stance. If you stand in the conviction that they are already yours, your outer self will act in ways that confirm it, without anxiety, without fear, without the trembling need for reassurance. They will feel this change, even if they cannot name it. People are exquisitely sensitive to the energy of certainty. There is a great difference between the one who waits for love and the one who assumes love. The one who waits is in a posture of lack. The one who assumes already wears the crown. You are not hoping they will choose you. You know they already have. You walk, speak, and carry yourself as one who has been chosen. And because the outer world is only the mirror of your inner state, they cannot help but reflect this back to you. You are not doing anything to them. You are being something before them. And being is always the cause, while doing is only the effect. Your imagination is the only bridge between your desire and its fulfillment. The more vividly you occupy the scene in which they are utterly devoted to you, the more natural it becomes. When it becomes natural, it becomes fact. But here again, you must release it. The act of imagining is your sowing. The act of detaching is your harvesting. Do not dig in the soil to see if the roots have grown. Trust that the process is already underway. Devotion, once conceived in the unseen, must manifest. It is law. Consider the nature of desire itself. It is not something you create. It is something that reveals what is already yours in potential. The moment the desire arises, the corresponding reality is born in the invisible. Detachment is the refusal to contradict that birth with thoughts of doubt, fear, or absence. Every time you say to yourself, "It hasn't happened yet," you place a veil over the reality that is trying to come forward. Remove the veil. Live as if it were impossible to be denied. Speak to yourself as if they are already here, already choosing you, already bound to you by the invisible thread of their own free devotion. When you detach, you stop acting from the wound and start acting from the wish fulfilled. You no longer send late-night messages seeking to test their affection. You no longer craft posts hoping they will notice. You no longer rehearse conversations in your mind where you plead for their attention. Instead, you walk in the certainty that their attention is already yours. Your words, when you speak to them, will be laced with calm assurance. Your silence will not be empty but full of the vibration that says, "I am chosen." And they will feel this not with the ears, but with the heart. The beauty of detachment is that it frees both you and them. You are free from the exhausting cycle of need, and they are free to come to you of their own volition. This is the only way devotion is pure, when it is given freely. And the paradox is, by letting go of the need, you make the giving inevitable. Their mind will circle back to you again and again, drawn by the mystery of your self-sufficiency. For nothing is more compelling than the one who does not need you yet chooses you. Juya Maga, Juya. Even now, as you hear these words, you can begin to feel the shift. Picture them thinking of you at odd moments, unable to shake the thought of you. See them smiling when your name appears in their mind. Feel the pull of their energy toward you. Do not try to send a message to make this happen. Simply assume it is already happening. The invisible transmission is more potent than any physical action. When you dwell in the feeling that they are devoted to you, they will find themselves thinking, "I don't know why, but I can't stop wanting them." This is not manipulation. It is the lawful reflection of your inner state. Detachment also means you stop reacting to appearances. Perhaps right now they are distant, distracted, even giving their attention elsewhere. If you react to this, you confirm it. But if you stand unmoved, holding to the end you have chosen, the outer scene must rearrange to match it. The law cannot fail. Your job is not to figure out how it will happen. Your job is to be the one to whom it has already happened. Let the universe rearrange itself around your state. Let them feel the shift without knowing why. When you can look at them, even in memory, and feel no pang of longing, only the calm delight of having, you have crossed into mastery. You will notice they begin to initiate more, to seek you out, to wonder what has changed in you. They may even test you to see if they still have your attention in the old way. And when they find you steady, whole, unshaken, their devotion deepens. They begin to see you not as someone they could lose interest in, but as someone they cannot be without. This is the alchemy of detachment. You transmute longing into possession and possession into radiance. You become so full in yourself that they cannot help but be drawn in. You are no longer the seeker, you are the one sought. And in this reversal, the dynamic of power shifts entirely, not because you have taken anything from them, but because you have claimed your rightful state in consciousness. All relationships, all connections are mirrors of the self. Change the self, and the reflection must follow. You must understand too that the devotion you seek is only as strong as your devotion to your own inner state. If you waver, if you let the outer world dictate your feeling, their devotion will mirror that instability. But if you hold steady, unshaken by time, distance, or appearances, they will feel the anchor you provide. And in a world of shifting tides, the anchor is irresistible. Your detachment does not mean withdrawal from interaction. It means withdrawal from the emotional hunger that depletes your power. You may still speak, laugh, and engage with them, but the core of you is untouched by whether they respond as you expect. You know that their full devotion is inevitable, and this knowing shapes every exchange. It infuses your presence with a quiet gravity. They may not understand it, but they will feel it, and they will respond to it. Once you have mastered this, you will see the same pattern in all areas of life: opportunities, wealth, friendships. Everything flows more freely when you cease clutching and start assuming. The law is universal. What you assume as true becomes true. What you detach from in the sense of need, you allow to come to you in the sense of fact. And so, if you would command their full devotion, begin not by chasing them, but by returning to yourself. Imagine them yours, feel them yours, then let it go. Walk as though the matter is settled, because it is. Every thought you think, every move you make, every silence you hold will radiate this certainty. And in time, though it may appear as if by chance, they will stand before you with eyes full of the devotion you once sought, now freely given. The moment you no longer need their devotion is the moment they cannot withhold it. This is the quiet magic at work. When your energy shifts from pursuit to possession, they feel it like a subtle change in the air. Without a word from you, their mind begins to circle back, drawn by something they cannot name. Your absence becomes presence. Your silence becomes a message louder than anything you could say. This is not because you have stopped caring, but because you have stepped into the frequency of already having. And in that frequency, they must respond. You see, when you detach, you no longer offer them the push of your need. Need creates resistance. If you lean too heavily towards someone energetically, they lean back to restore their own balance. But when you lean back, when you stand upright in the fullness of yourself, they lean forward without even realizing it. They seek your attention, not because you have demanded it, but because they are compelled to by the shift in your state. It is nature's law. The energy you withdraw from chasing becomes the magnetism that draws them. Also, your detachment is not coldness, it is warmth contained. It is the gentle fire of self-possession. When they are with you, they feel your interest without feeling your dependence. They sense that you enjoy them, but that your world does not crumble in their absence. This balance is intoxicating. It makes them want to be near you more often, to secure their place in your life, to prove themselves worthy of your attention. You have moved from the role of the petitioner to the prize. To sustain this state, you must feed it from within. This is where imagination becomes your strongest ally. See them cherishing you in ways you have not yet experienced in the outer world. Hear their voice speaking words of love and loyalty. Feel the certainty of being adored. And then live your day as if these things were already part of your reality. Do not try to make them happen. Allow them to happen. This is detachment, knowing that what is seen is temporary and what is assumed is inevitable. When the outer reality still shows signs of distance, your mind will be tempted to react. You may want to reach out, to test their feelings, to gather reassurance. But the one who commands devotion refuses to be moved by appearances. You must remind yourself that the outer world is a shadow of your inner state, and shadows are slow to catch up when you have just turned toward the light. Your job is to hold the light steady, not to chase the shadow. Every time you refuse to react to the old pattern, you accelerate the appearance of the new one. This is where most people fail. They cannot resist the temptation to check. They measure progress in visible signs, forgetting that the most powerful movements are invisible. The stirring in their heart, the dreams they have of you, the sudden memories that come to them unbidden, these are all taking place beyond your sight, but they are real, and they are shaping the moment when devotion will spill over into action. Trust that it is so. The law is simple. What you persist in assuming will harden into fact. Detachment is simply persistence without interference. You plant the seed of devotion in imagination, and then you leave it to grow. You do not water it with worry, you water it with the calm assurance of already having. You do not pull it up to check its roots. You protect it by refusing to speak against it. And as you do, something shifts in them. They begin to think of you more often. They remember the way you made them feel. They start to see you differently, to place you above all others without consciously deciding to. When you embody detachment, you move differently. Your eyes carry a different light, your words have a different weight. You do not chase conversations, you let them come to you. You do not rush to fill silences, you let the silence work for you. Silence is a powerful space where they can miss you, wonder about you, and imagine you. And in that wondering, they deepen their attachment to you. The more they try to define why they feel this pull, the stronger it becomes. Understand that devotion is not demanded, it is evoked. You evoke it by being whole in yourself, by living as the one already chosen. And when they come closer, as they inevitably will, you do not collapse into need again. You maintain the state that drew them in the first place. This is how you turn fleeting attraction into lasting devotion. You remain the calm center, and they revolve around you. Not because you have forced them, but because in your self-possession, you have become the most secure place they know. Even when you are not physically together, your energy can wrap around them. This is the telepathic current that moves between connected minds. When you are calm, certain, and full of the feeling of already having, that signal reaches them. They may not consciously think they are detached but devoted to themselves, but they will feel the peace and power in your energy. That feeling is addictive. They will come back to it again and again until they cannot imagine their life without it. And here is where the deeper truth emerges. The devotion you command from them is a reflection of the devotion you have first given to yourself. If you honor your own worth, they will honor it. If you cherish your own presence, they will cherish it. If you trust in your own magnetic power, they will trust it too. People treat you as you treat yourself in the secret places of your mind. Change your self-concept and you change their behavior without a word spoken. So stand tall in the unseen, walk in the invisible realm with the crown already on your head, feel their eyes on you wherever you go. Speak inwardly as if you were already the center of their world. Refuse to contradict this with outward desperation. The game is won in the silence, in the stillness, in the moments when you choose to believe in what is not yet seen. And when the outer catches up, it will seem to everyone else like sudden magic. But you will know it was always inevitable. There is a sacred power in the one who knows they are wanted but does not grasp to prove it. This power is the essence of detachment, not a wall to keep others out, but an inner throne from which you reign without strain. When you are rooted in this state, the person you desire feels the difference. They feel no pulling demand, no frantic undercurrent, only the steady pull of something they cannot shake. And here's the beauty. They will believe the longing originated in them. They will think, I can't stop thinking about this person, not realizing it is the reflection of your own assumption projected into their mind. The mind you hold is the mind they meet. If within yourself you see them devoted, loyal, and enchanted by you, they cannot help but begin to mirror that picture. This is not because you are bending their will. It is because their outer behavior must match the reality you have claimed in consciousness. The invisible connection between you acts like a tuning fork. You set the frequency, and they begin to vibrate in harmony. If your frequency is one of need, they feel the push to step back. If your frequency is one of possession, they feel the pull to step closer. Detachment is how you keep your frequency clean. Every thought of, why haven't they called, or what if they forget me, lowers your vibration to the level of lack. The moment you return to, they are already mine, and I am already chosen, you restore the frequency that commands them. You must practice this until it becomes second nature. It is not a one-time exercise, it is a way of living. Think of yourself as the sun. The sun does not chase the planets, it simply shines, and they orbit naturally. The planets cannot help but follow the path carved by its gravitational field. Your inner state is that gravitational field. When it is strong and steady, devotion is inevitable. The one you desire begins to shape their life around your presence, making space for you without you lifting a finger. They will adjust their schedule, change their habits, and prioritize you, not out of obligation, but because it feels natural to do so. And here is the exquisite paradox. The more you rest in this knowing, the more they feel the need to prove their devotion to you. They want to ensure they have your attention, that they remain in your favor. They do not feel coerced. They feel compelled. They may even find themselves doing things they once resisted simply because your self-possession has shifted the energy between you. This is how you transform the dynamic without confrontation, without pleas, without gain. If you have ever wondered why some people seem to inspire fierce loyalty while others struggle for scraps of attention, this is the reason. Those who inspire loyalty are not more beautiful or more charming, they are more certain. They carry within them the unshakable belief that they are worth loyalty, and so they receive it. The moment you adopt this belief for yourself, the same law will work in your favor. When you detach, you create a space for mystery. Mystery is magnetic. If someone feels they know exactly where they stand with you at all times, the tension dissipates. But when you are warm yet self-contained, available yet sovereign, you awaken curiosity. They begin to wonder, what is it about them that I can't let go of? They replay your words, they think of your presence, they start to feel an ache in your absence. This is the fertile ground where devotion grows. To sustain this, you must stop using the outer world as your feedback loop. Your inner reality is the cause. The outer is the effect. If you use the effect to determine the cause, you will forever be chasing your own tail. Instead, decide what the cause will be, your assumption of their full devotion, and let the effect catch up in its own perfect timing. This timing is never slow. It is precise. Even the delays you perceive are only the rearrangement of conditions to make the devotion more complete when it appears. Do not confuse detachment with delay. Just because you do not see them running toward you this very moment does not mean they are not already turning in your direction. Many of the greatest changes happen when you see nothing at all. It is in the moments when you release the need to control that the unseen takes over. And when it delivers, it does so in ways that feel both natural and miraculous. In truth, your detachment is a form of silent declaration. You are saying to the universe and to them, I am already fulfilled. You are already mine. I have no need to cling because nothing can take away what is mine in consciousness. That inner certainty is the strongest telepathic message you can send. It will be felt even through miles, even through silence, even through time. You may notice as you practice this that you become less reactive. Where once a delayed reply might have sent you spiraling, now it barely stirs you. You are no longer at the mercy of their movements, because your state is no longer built on them. Ironically, it is in this steadiness that their movements begin to align with your desires. They will match your availability with eagerness, your silence with pursuit, your composure with commitment. This is the unspoken law of attraction in its purest form. Like draws to like. When you stand in the state of being adored, you draw to you the actions and words that match it. When you stand in the state of being uncertain, you draw uncertainty. Detachment is simply choosing the first state and refusing to step out of it. And as you hold it, it becomes so normal that you forget you ever lived any other way. The final secret is this: devotion, once commanded, must be maintained, not through effort, but through continued self-possession. You cannot return to neediness without dimming the light that drew them. You must live as the one they are devoted to in every moment, not for their sake, but for your own. In doing so, you create a relationship that is not only passionate, but anchored, not only magnetic, but enduring. There is a subtle elegance to the way detachment reshapes reality. It begins quietly, almost imperceptibly, as you release the weight of needing them and instead take up the lightness of knowing they are already yours. At first, your mind may protest. Years of habit will try to pull you back into checking, seeking, proving. But each time you resist that pull and return to your chosen state, you strengthen it. And this strengthening is not just a mental exercise. It becomes a new identity. You are no longer the seeker. You are the center around which devotion orbits. The one you desire begins to sense this identity without a word from you. Your energy speaks for you in ways language cannot. You walk differently. You speak differently. You even pause differently. When they look at you, they feel something shift in themselves. They might not even be able to explain it, but it will show in their actions. The way they linger in your presence, the way they remember small details you mention, the way they reach for you without you asking. This is the outer reflection of the inner work you've done. Detachment is the removal of pressure from the relationship. And pressure is what crushes natural attraction. When you no longer radiate the frequency of "I need you to complete me," you allow the relationship to breathe. In that space, their own desire has room to bloom. They will start thinking of what they can do to keep you close, not because you have asked them, but because they now feel the pull to contribute to your world. This is the shift from you investing all your energy into them, to them investing their energy into you. And yet, your role remains the same: to hold your state. The moment you waver, the mirror wavers. This is why the discipline of detachment is so important. You must learn to be unmoved, not in a cold or dismissive way, but in a steady, rooted way. You become like a mountain, constant, unshaken by weather. People are drawn to mountains not because they move, but because they do not. In your steadiness, you become the grounding presence they seek. Your imagination is the silent architect of this reality. Every time you picture them devoted, loyal, and deeply committed to you, you are laying another stone in the unseen foundation. The more vivid and natural this picture becomes to you, the more inevitable it becomes in the outer world. But remember, the imagining is not for the purpose of making it happen. It is for the purpose of dwelling in what already is. This is the subtle difference that turns effort into ease. There will be moments when the outer world tempts you to doubt. They may appear distracted, or circumstances may seem to pull you apart. In these moments, the average person reacts by grasping tighter. But the one who understands detachment knows that appearances are only the residue of old assumptions. They have no true power unless you grant it. Instead of reacting, you reaffirm within, "I am already the one they choose." This refusal to be swayed by appearances is what keeps the law in motion toward your desired end. Of time, something remarkable happens. Their devotion stops being something you try to get. It becomes the natural state of the relationship. They think of you first, they prioritize you, they express love without prompting. And because you are no longer in a state of lack, you receive this love with grace instead of fear. You stop questioning whether it will last because you know that your state is what sustains it. And your state is under your control. Detachment also amplifies your personal magnetism beyond the relationship. Others will begin to notice you in ways they hadn't before. Opportunities will come to you more easily. You will see that the principle is universal. When you live in the feeling of already having, the world rushes to match it. This is because the energy of fulfillment is one of the most attractive forces in existence. People, experiences, and resources all respond to it. For the one whose devotion you seek, this creates an unshakable bond. They feel secure in your presence, but never complacent. Your detachment keeps a spark alive. It tells them, I am whole, with or without you, and I choose to share my wholeness with you. This is a position of strength, and strength commands respect. In relationships, respect is the soil in which devotion grows. Without it, even the most intense passion burns out. Now, there is an important nuance. Detachment does not mean withholding love. You can still express care, affection, and warmth, but these expressions come from a place of abundance, not need. You give because you are overflowing, not because you are hoping for something in return. This distinction is felt on a deep subconscious level. They will know you are not performing to earn their devotion. You are simply radiating the state of already being loved, and this makes your love irresistible. It is in this balance, giving freely while remaining sovereign, that your influence deepens. They will not only devote themselves to you in action, but in thought. You will occupy their mind when they wake, when they work, when they rest. They will plan their life with you in mind, not because you demanded it, but because it feels natural to do so. The seed of devotion has taken root, and it will grow stronger with time. Eventually, you will look back and realize that the moment you truly detached was the moment everything began to turn in your favor, not because you lost interest, but because you shifted from chasing to attracting, from asking to allowing, from needing to knowing. This shift is invisible to the eyes, but undeniable to the heart. And once you master it, you will never again fear losing what you love, because you will know that love answers to the state of being, and being is always within your command. When you live in detachment, you discover a rare and intoxicating freedom, the freedom from anxiety about the outcome. You are no longer counting days, decoding messages, or dissecting gestures. You have stepped out of the role of the observer who waits for confirmation and into the role of the creator who assumes completion. And because you are no longer straining toward the end is free to flow toward you without obstruction. This is the paradox that eludes most. Letting go is not giving up. It is stepping into the reality where you already have. This shift is felt not only in your mind, but in your body. Your energy changes. Your tone of voice becomes steadier, your movements more deliberate, your presence more commanding. Without forcing anything, you begin to radiate the quiet authority of someone who knows they are loved, chosen, and secure. People are drawn to this energy because it feels rare in a world addicted to chasing. The one whose devotion you desire will be drawn to it most of all because it provides something they cannot easily find elsewhere, the safety of knowing you are not clinging, and the thrill of knowing they must continually earn their place in your life through genuine love and devotion. Detachment turns you into the standard by which they measure others. Without you trying to convince them, they begin to notice how differently they feel around you compared to anyone else. Your calm self-possession becomes their point of reference, and everything else feels less satisfying. This is the invisible leverage you gain when you master detachment. It imprints you into their emotional memories so deeply that your absence feels like a loss, and your presence feels like a gift. But make no mistake, this power comes from within. It cannot be faked for long. Pretending to be detached while secretly panicking will only create mixed signals, both in your own energy and in their perception of you. True detachment is born from an unwavering assumption: I am already the one they adore. This assumption must become your natural state, so natural that it feels strange to think otherwise, and you cultivate this naturalness by dwelling in the inner scene of your fulfilled desire until it feels as familiar as breathing. The moment this becomes your truth, the outer world begins to bend. They will reach out at unexpected times, share parts of themselves they never revealed before, and look at you with a depth that wasn't there before. They will wonder what has changed, and without realizing it, they will adjust themselves to meet you in the new reality you have created. You have not pushed them into devotion, you have lifted yourself into the state where their devotion is the only possible outcome. In this state, you no longer fear losing them, because you understand that what is yours in consciousness cannot be taken from you. This is not arrogance, it is alignment with the law. Outer events may shift, circumstances may appear unstable, but the truth remains. Your inner reality is the cause, and the cause is fixed. Even if they step away for a time, they will feel the pull to return, for they cannot escape the gravitational field of your assumption. And here is something many overlook. Detachment also makes you more receptive to receiving devotion in its purest form. When you are needy, you filter everything they do through the lens of insecurity. You question their motives. You downplay their efforts. You miss the moments when they show care because you are too busy looking for proof. But when you are detached, you notice and appreciate these expressions of love as they come. You receive them with grace, and in doing so, you encourage more of them. Detachment is also the great equalizer. No matter what the current dynamic has been, whether you've been chasing, waiting, or feeling overlooked, the moment you shift into detachment, the energy between you changes. This change is unmistakable to them. They may not consciously realize what has happened, but they will sense that you are no longer seeking their validation. And the human heart, when it no longer feels pressured, instinctively seeks to connect of its own free will. It is in this space that their full devotion takes root. Because you are not demanding it, it flows freely. Because you are not measuring it, it grows without resistance. And because you are not doubting it, it solidifies into something they themselves will protect. They will begin to see you not as someone they can take for granted, but as someone they must cherish if they wish to keep close. Over time, you will see that detachment does more than command devotion, it commands life itself. You will watch as situations that once made you anxious now bow to your certainty. You will notice how opportunities and relationships flow toward you with less effort, because you have mastered the art of holding the end in mind and letting the path unfold without interference. This mastery will spill over into every area of your existence, turning you into someone who naturally receives without chasing. And in the specific bond you desire, the results will be undeniable. The person will not only give you their attention, but will offer it in a way that feels grounded, lasting, and sincere. They will begin to speak of the future as if it already includes you. They will make space for you in their world without you asking. They will look at you with the kind of devotion that is born not from fear of losing you, but from the joy of having you. This is the quiet victory of detachment, not the dramatic, desperate conquest, but the serene unfolding of a reality you have already claimed within. You do not announce it, you do not chase it, you simply live it until it becomes inevitable. And when it arrives, it will feel less like a surprise and more like a homecoming. For in truth, you have been living in it all along.